Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is John Clayton. I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic, and I've been clean and sober since February 21st, 2021. Wow, January 7th. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're new to the channel, well, I'm glad that you found me. I hope you hear something that resonates with you. You're in the right place. Faith in the program and each other. Faith is what keeps us doing the footwork even when we can't see the reason. Living Clean, Chapter 1, Growing Pains. Many of us were fine with living in philosophy of act now, ask questions later. In our addiction, we did what we had to do, the footwork of using perhaps, and had a certain degree of faith within the chaos of that lifestyle, but we don't necessarily bring those bold tactics into early recovery. Why? Then it is so difficult for many of us to have faith and get on board with NA from day one. Maybe it's that we didn't know what we wanted. We thought we'd found what we wanted in drugs, but total abstinence seemed unlikely, and long term recovery unfathomable. Yes, we want a better life, but who doesn't? It suggested we go to meetings, help set up the room, read the book, call a member when we're feeling squirrely, ask someone to be our sponsor so they can take us through those unfathomable 12 steps. We also think this works for you, but what if it doesn't for me? And why do you seem so sure it will? A lot of us would say the reasons are evident. Here are a bunch of addicts who didn't use today, who set up and ran a meeting that started and ended on time. They shared their experience, strength, and hope. They griped about their day, but stayed clean anyway. They were joyful with each other, celebrating recovery milestones with gratitude. When speaking, most expressed their faith in the program and each other. At some point, we made a decision to do the footwork without a clear picture of our destination. Why? Some of us are so desperate we'll do anything to stop the pain. For others, it's a lightning bolt spiritual awakening, a moment of clarity. Some of us take tiny steps or have many moments of clarity. Others find a single person to trust, and that drives our decision. Still, others go into our rebelliousness and then find ourselves celebrating a year clean, then 5 years, then a quarter century. No matter what kicks it off, this decision is, for many of us, our first experience of faith. We hear that more will be revealed, and more is. I see abundant evidence around me that NA works. I just need a bit of faith every day to keep me willing to follow my path of recovery. Yeah, well, that's one thing I can definitely say is that my faith today is a lot stronger. I mean, before I always kind of believed in a higher power, or well, in some kind of spiritual power out there, that something had to create this beautiful planet that we live on. But it wasn't it wasn't until recovery, and then the whole idea or concept was really new for me, of thinking about that faith or the God of my understanding, you know, I didn't believe in a God per se before coming to recovery, but I did believe in a higher power. Now, it wasn't until recovery that we started calling it my own personal higher power, or everybody's own personal higher power, since everybody's higher power could be something different. It might not even be a God, it might be an animate object. For me, it's God. And, I pray not as often as I was when I was in treatment. I mean, I'm trying to get back to doing it a little bit more often. But, I also live by myself. I'm with a cat. I got me and my cat, and then the fact that I do these channels every single day, and amongst, I'm also writing stories now too. I've already written 3 sci-fi slash love stories that I've turned into audiobooks. And I honestly didn't think I was going to be able to do that because it's so hard to try and think of to put my imagination to work like as if when I was a child. It's so much harder today. But the one thing that I have going for me today is the fact that, for one, I want to succeed. It's important for me to succeed. I don't want to. I no longer. I don't want to die and be on my deathbed, thinking that everything in my life was for nothing. And I'm 53. I don't know how much time I have left. Everyone else in my family is dead. So, and they've all died at all different ages. I think the youngest person in my family to die would have been my mother at 49. The oldest person to die would be my biological father, but he, I think, hit 80 or 81 or something like that. So he lived the longest. My grandmother was only 52, and my grandfather was 66. I got some aunts and uncles who died in their 30s, and I got a great great. Well, I have a biological grandfather who actually was an interesting story because back in the 30s there used to be a mafia type gang in Toronto called the Boyd Gang, and my grandfather was the runner of that group. And it's interesting. I saw a picture of him one time when my grandparents were still alive. And if you were to look at the picture and then look at a picture of my biological grandfather, we look identical. We'd think we were twins. It blew my mind. I wish I knew more about him though, you know. But anyway, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate every one of you. And if nobody's told you today that they love you, well, I love you, and we will see you again real soon. Okay? Alright, bye for now.